Optimus Primal from Rise of the Beast Studio Series Edition. I've got him, and I am going to take him out of this box and show him to you. I'm Captain Kyle, and I will go through this thing bit by bit, even if he was voiced by, Ron Perlman and not Garry Chalk. But we're going to check him out and see if he's worth it for your collection. Be right back. So yes, this is the Optimus Primal from Rise of the Beasts. Now, he doesn't quite look like the one from Beast Wars, but there are similarities. And I have the model kit, which we'll actually compare this to. And, the movie was okay. It wasn't as good as Bumblebee, in my opinion. It was better than a lot of the Bayverse stuff, but I still had some issues with it, which we'll talk about over the next few videos, because I got more Studio Series stuff to go through. But let's break this guy out. Now, first of all, the package has some nice artwork, but I do have to say he is a very dull-looking ape. Not that apes are really wildly colorful, but we're gonna put this over here because you never know, might need to refer to it. And we're gonna put this in the garbage. I don't need your warnings. Now, Optimus Primal comes with a nice background, nice jungle, South American scene. Some nice trees, which we shouldn't cut down. And again, I generally don't use these backdrops as backdrops for my collection because I have so many Transformers I can't afford the room. Now, here he is in the package. He is in ape mode. The little drug pack, the little accessories packet fell out. He's got an axe and two swords in here, and he is really in there. These are the paper strings. I'm gonna cut from the back so we don't damage the actual toy and get Optimus Primal out of his package. And of course, we're gonna need his weapons at some point, so let's not forget those. So there he is. I'm gonna put him on the turntable of doom, and we're gonna take a look at all of his angles, though I would like to see what's in this little packet. And it is these things, chain type things. And the little, it's not a matrix, it's the key to the space bridge or some stuff like that. I thought that they were going to do a nod to Beast Wars, not Transformers Animated in Rise of the Beasts, but apparently the whole space bridge thing carries over to a lot of different Optimi. Now, before we go through him, I just want to make sure that I don't have to adjust him too much to make him into the proper ape. Apparently he can stand on his back legs like most apes can, but the package is showing him kind of leaning forward. So I kind of like the whole I'm an ape, so I'm going to lean forward type thing. And apparently you can take his swords and attach them to his back in ape mode. You can hold them in his hands as well. And these little chains can link together, and we'll play around with that when he's in robot mode. And apparently he can carry around a little, what is it called? It's the transwarp key. I thought Star Trek proved that transwarp wasn't a really good concept. So there he is as an ape. I'm going to take the transwarp key out of his hand, and we're going to take a look at him. He is a very dim figure. Not like dumb, but the colors are very dark and dim. You would almost think that this was a bad guy. It's a shame that we didn't see Beast Wars Megatron and Waspinator and Tarantulas and such in Rise of the Beasts. And Cheetor had like one line. Didn't even call him Big Bot, I don't think. There he is. He is a ape, but as with some of the Beast Wars, it's pretty easy to look at the animal and say, this is not a real creature. Apparently he can beat on his chest, kind of. The arms do that. Though if you do it too much, the swords fall off. I'm gonna put the swords to the side for now. Articulation, as an ape, the arms are pretty good. There's no twisting at the waist. The legs, which are kind of like compacted robot legs, can kind of move back and forth. He could even do a split. Yeah! Breakdancing. Though this is set in the 90s, so breakdancing was not as big at the time. The head has some great articulation because you can basically lift it up so that when he's running like this, he can face forward. We can also move there. It can twist all the way around. be careful, you might do a Zod on him. Ah! The shoulders have some movement as well as twisting. You can definitely move the arms out to the side. You have the shoulder pads. I mean, I guess he lives in the past, in the 80s. And you can also kind of move them forward. I think it might be part of the transformation, but you can tilt them forward. It's kind of got a weird gear in the back here, but you can see here the arms can go all the way forward. So not a bad figure, a good representation from the movie. I did appreciate in the movie that they had Ape Link, who the first toy of him was a repaint of Transmetal Optimus Primal. I wonder if we're gonna get an Ape Link toy. I mean, why not? They like making toys and we like buying them. It's a win-win. Now, before we get into the robot mode, let's take a look at these accessories because you can plug the swords together and his hands are able to open up. Whew. But it's still easier to slide them through. So he's got his swords attached by a chain, which makes it more difficult to lose one of them. And you know, he can whip them out and all that kind of stuff. You can see on his back here, it's very metallic looking, so definitely not really disguised as an ape. You can also put the swords together, so he can do a Darth Maul. And then you can put the axe in the other hand, because you know, he's an Optimus, he needs an axe. Stop falling. So he can basically go on the top of Sherman Dam and battle it out with Nick. Okay, maybe not. So as I kind of demonstrated, he does have articulated fingers. The fingers are, it's like half hand, Thomas Covenant. So the pinky and the third finger or the ring finger go together, and the middle and the forefinger go together. The thumb does not apparently move, just the fingers. And you can turn the fist. The arms also have swiveling, which is nice. So you can ooga booga, me, Optimus Primal. And the seeds of the future are buried in the past. Something like that. I gotta say, in ape mode, you have to definitely, I mean, this is a relatively flat surface on here. You gotta make sure the feet are aligned properly or he does flop over. I'm trying to see if there's anything else. I mean, definitely the back shows robotic type kibble, but a pretty good figure based on the movie overall. So there he is next to the original mold of Optimus Primal. This is a later release because he doesn't have the beast face mask and he's in gray instead of black, but same mold overall. And as you can see, this one's a little bit bigger. Hey little man, I'm not a man, I'm an ape. This guy, if you put him standing up, he's about 6 inches tall. This guy's a little bit bigger and can deploy weapons as well, though the sword comes out. But so he doesn't feel too small, here is the Robot Masters version. And they're, well, Robot Masters Optimus Primal, definitely a little smaller. And finally, the War for Cybertron Kingdom version. As you can see, he's a little bigger than that. So, alrighty, now let's put him into his robot mode. So there he is, Optimus Primal in his robot mode. Now, to be honest, one of the problems with changing an ape into a man is there's not a lot. I mean, you could pretty much do it very quickly and simply. So in order for them to justify him being a Transformer, there's a lot of itty bitty things that flick around. But you can see him on the back here. He's got on the back of his legs the monkey feet. And it's a clever transformation, but a lot of it is just for the sake of making it not too simple, in my opinion. Though I do have to say, getting the fists into the proper position, into the arms, is a little bit of a pain. In fact, I'm still trying to get it exactly. I will say it's kind of cool that they didn't use the exact same hands for the robot mode as they do for the Beast, so makes him a little bit more clever and more accurate, so his hands aren't as big. Speaking of his hands, let's give him some weapons. We'll give him his Darth Maul double sword and his hatchet. So there he is in all his robotic glory, but let's go through some posability. I mean, for the price, he should be able to pose pretty well. So, first of all, and you know I was going to start with this, full toes up Jean-Claude Van Damme, not a problem. Ankle rockers, they actually go quite a bit, so he can really, really have his feet flat for some very wide-legged stances. he can kick forward and back. Now his little butt plate here makes it difficult to go straight back, so it kind of curves off to the side. Obviously a side kick. Bends at the knee, and there is additional foot articulation. He does twist at the waist in this mode, not as an ape, but as a robot. The arms can go all the way around, out to the side, bend at the elbow, has a swivel. The fists can turn, the fingers are articulated. This time, it's half hand. So you have the forefinger and middle finger, and the pinky and ring finger are together. Thumb again does not move, but finger articulation. So there you go. And he can still hold his weapons when you open up his fingers. That's not a horrible thing. The head can turn. However, you can't really turn it all the way around because he's got this neck brace. I guess he was in a car accident or something and he's waiting on insurance settlement, but it keeps his head from going all the way around. It can push back a little bit or push forward, so we can do a little bit of a nodding thing. But overall, a good amount of articulation, something I would expect from a studio series. But you do need to make sure he is firmly planted on his feet. So there he is from all his angles. I mean, it's hard to tell. There's the foot kibble on the back, but otherwise, and the shoulder pads, it's hard to tell that he's an ape other than those little clues when he is in his robot mode. All right, some size comparisons. Next to the original mold, he's a little bit shorter. He is about 7 inches tall in robot mode. Yeah, it's a little smaller, but there is some great homages to the original mold, like the shoulder pads. Not really the chest piece, but at least that is a nice little homage. Obviously a bit taller than the Robot Masters version, just a little taller than the War for Cybertron Kingdom version, and a little bit shorter than the YOLO Park model kit, although of course they have a lot of similar elements. So a pretty cool figure, extra accessories, trans warp key. You can even put him on his backdrop, so he's king of the jungle. Though, shouldn't that be Leo Convoy? So as a leader class, he goes for about $55, $54.95 or somewhere around there. And he's a pretty cool figure if you enjoyed the movie. Again, he's pretty posable. And if you enjoyed the movie and the character, again, even if he's not voiced by Garry Chalk, you know, might be worth getting. But while you're mulling him over, you can check out this video over here where I go over 3 toys from the Rise of the Beasts line. Nightbird, Wheeljack, kinda, and Cheetor. And of course, I hope you're enjoying these videos as much as I enjoy making them. We'll see you next time. As always, have fun and good hunting in the jungle.